Hi and welcome to E-ZTutoring. Today we're going to cover how you can use a conjugate to solve a square root rational expression. So this works similar to imaginary numbers if you guys haven't learned it yet. If not, forget what I just said. So what we want to do is, first we want to realize that you can't have a square root in the denominator. That's not good practice in math. So you usually want to get rid of that square root. Now, if it was just square root of 3, that'd be easy. Just multiply by square root of 3, you get rid of it. But it's 5 plus square root of 3. So what do? What you want to do is you want to use the conjugate. Using the conjugate will help you get rid of that square root in the denominator. What is the conjugate? The conjugate is simply the same thing, but the difference of a sign, and you have to change the sign in front of the square root. So whatever the sign in front of the square root is, in this case it's positive, you want to change that to negative. Keep the same numbers, and now multiplying all of this by this, we'll get rid of the square root. Now, are we allowed to just go into a fraction and multiply the denominator by something that we want? No, you're not, because that changes the whole value of the fraction. Unless you multiply the top by the same thing. If you multiply the top by the same thing, then it's really like multiplying by 1, because something over the same thing is equal to 1. And multiplying anything by 1 doesn't change its value, so we are allowed to do this. All right, so multiplying square root of 6 into this set of parentheses, we must use distributive property to get 5 root 6 and minus square root 6 times square root 3 gives us square root 18. Square root 18. All right, that is the top. Now for the bottom, we have to use the FOIL method to multiply this by this. Now, if you guys are not familiar with the FOIL method, be sure to check out my video on that. Simply tells you that when you multiply two binomials, you must multiply the first, outer, then inner, and then the last terms. So the first terms means that we multiply the first term from here, which is 5, and the first term from here, which is also 5. 5 times 5 gives us 25. Then we must multiply the outer terms, 5 times negative root 3, which gives us negative 5 root 3. All right, then we must multiply the inner terms. Oh, whoops, forgot to put the little arrow for that one. So the inner terms is root 3 and 5. So we do plus 5 root 3. And then the last terms of each binomial, last one of this is root 3, last one of this is negative root 3. Multiply these two together and we get minus, there's two ways you could do this. You could either say that 3 times 3 gives you the square root of 9, or square root 3 times square root 3 is just 3 and gets rid of the square root. I'll do square root 9 for now so we can do one step at a time. Now, one thing I do want to talk about, you'll notice minus 5 root 3 plus 5 root 3, goodbye, those cancel. So whenever you multiply by the conjugate, those middle terms should always cancel. So if those didn't cancel, then you'll know you didn't do something right. Now in the future, once you get used to this, you can really just multiply the first terms and then the last terms, because you know that the outer and inner will always cancel with each other. Anyways, don't recommend doing that until you've really gotten used to doing this. So on the bottom, these cancel, and then we just have 25 minus the square root of 9. Square root of 9 is 3, so I'm just going to write 3 there. And look at that, we have no more square root in the denominator, which is exactly what we wanted. All right, now on the top, 5 root 6 minus square root of 18. Square root of 18 can definitely simplify. And we always want to simplify any math expression that we're working with. So you want to think of a perfect square that goes in there. And we know that 9 goes in there. 9 times 2. All right, one last step for simplification. We can take the square root of 9 out, which is 3. So that's like negative 3 root 2. And then we have plus 5 root 6. I don't know why I switched them, but for some reason I did. Doesn't matter. You can leave your final answer in either way. It won't make a difference. And then on the bottom, we have 25 minus 3, which gives us 22. And this right here is your final answer. And you will notice we have no more square root in the denominator. So that is how you can use a conjugate to get rid of the square root in the denominator of a rational expression. All right, hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys ever want ACT or SAT help, be sure to visit my website, www.E-ZTutoring.com. Thank you guys, and have a good day.